Who remembers the Atari Jaguar console? I'll wait. I'm not going to hold my breath, but I'll wait. If you don't remember this console, it was released in, I believe, the early 1990s. It was one of the claims to fame is that this was Atari's final original hardware release. Another claim to fame is that it launched the Aliens vs. Predator franchise, in gaming anyway, as a first-person shooter by Rebellion. Other than that, there's not a whole lot notable. I mean, there were still some fun games, and Songbird Productions has done a lot like Pico Interactive. They've picked up the rights to previously unreleased titles and fixed them up, completed them as best they could, and released them. Things like that. I want to focus on the independent homebrew developer, though. Over on YouTube, a homebrew developer by the name of Metal Mauler Games creates titles, original and ports, for all kinds of platforms, two of which are on the Atari Jaguar that we're going to talk about today. The first one is called Shoot 'em Up 3D, and it's a work in progress, so I wouldn't forgive the name. As you can see, this is very much early. There's not a whole lot of gameplay here. For me, I get a real strong turmoil on the Atari 2600 vibe from the Shoot 'em Up 3D. It also has kind of some very similar graphics to what we saw on the Super Nintendo with Star Fox, and it's a forward-scrolling, very focused, kind of like Sewer Shark or Mega Race, except the backgrounds are not pre-rendered. You know, as you move, perspective changes. I mean, this is a full 3D game, which is pretty awesome. It's fairly basic. I mean, there's a few enemies that have different unique attributes and how they act. But, I mean, it's so far, I mean, it's pretty interesting. I mean, I would like to see where they go with this. I mean, I don't know if they could do a turmoil style game. I mean, the up and down, staying in one position, up and down, you know, flipping, all that stuff would probably be too much, cause nausea or something. But still, to me, for some reason I get a turmoil vibe from that. Next we have up one that is really interesting to me, and it is one that caught my eye. 3D ZYX for the Atari Jaguar, of course. This is kind of like if Space Harrier was crossed with Super Mario Galaxy. And that's only because the way the curvature of the background is, it makes the game world look like it's a real small globe. And then add in graphics that kind of look like the developers behind Fantasy Zone were involved in this. And that gives you 3D ZYX. This one's actually pretty interesting. It's you know, the scrolling, the enemies, the scaling. I mean, there's a lot going on in the screen. I mean, of course, you know, the Jaguar is more powerful. You know, they could handle more than this. But for an independent homebrew developer, yeah, making this, I mean, this is pretty impressive. Anyways, if you're a fan of the Atari Jaguar or arcade machines and various other retro platforms, check out Metal Mauler Games. I'll have a link in the description below. But before you go, what game would you want to see, or genre would you want to see ported to the Atari Jaguar? Let me know in the comments below.